Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to dive into something really essential for anyone who works with data. We're talking about the core SQL commands that let you manage and, well, manipulate the actual data inside your database. All right, so think about it. You've done all the hard work of designing and building your database tables. The whole structure is perfect. But right now, it's just an empty box, isn't it? So the real question is, how do we get the data in there? How do we change it when we need to? And of course, how do we take it out? Well, the answer to all of that is in a special set of commands we call DML. That stands for Data Manipulation Language. Honestly, this is the toolkit where all the real action happens in a database. So what is DML exactly? Well, simply put, it's a family of SQL commands that are designed for one specific job: to manage the actual, real data that is stored inside your tables. You can think of it as the language you use to have a conversation with the contents of your database. Now, it's really important to understand the difference between DML and another thing called DDL, or Data Definition Language. Think of it like this. DDL is the architect's blueprint. It creates the tables, defines the columns, it builds the structure of the house. DML, on the other hand, is all about the furniture you put inside that house. It deals with the actual data, the content. So one builds the house and the other furnishes it. It's a key difference. So, with that idea clear in our minds, let's get practical. Let's open up this DML toolkit and look at the core tools you will be using every single day. Mastering these is really the most important first step in managing your data properly. It really all boils down to 3 simple actions. First, you need to add new information into your tables. For that, we use the insert command. Second, what if information changes? You need a way to modify it. That's where update comes in. And finally, sometimes you need to get rid of old data. For that, we use delete. So let's start with our very first tool, insert. Its purpose is as simple as it sounds: to add new rows of data into a table. You can imagine a school register. When a new student joins, you use insert to add all their details. And just look at how straightforward the command is. You literally just say insert into, and then the table name, in this case, student. After that, you list the columns you are filling, like roll number, name, city. And finally, you provide the matching values for those columns. So 101, Anjali, Delhi. See? It's as logical as that. Okay, next up is our second tool, update. Now, what if our student Anjali moves from Delhi to Mumbai? Her record is already in our database, but now it's out of date. The update command is made exactly for this situation, to modify data that is already there. And this example shows you the syntax perfectly. You start with update student. Then, the most important part is the set clause. This is where you say what the new value should be. Set city equals Mumbai. But how does the database know to change only Anjali's record? Well, that's the job of the where clause. By saying where roll number equals 101, we target that one specific record. And don't worry, we'll come back to this where clause in just a moment. Our third main tool is delete, and its purpose is exactly what you think it is: to remove records from a table. But it's very important to understand that this is a permanent action. You are not just hiding the data, you are completely removing those rows for good. This is a very powerful command, so you have to use it with care. Again, the structure is very logical. You just say delete from the table name, student, and just like with update, the where clause is absolutely essential. In this example, where city equals Delhi tells the database to find and remove the records for all students whose city is listed as Delhi. Now, I've mentioned that the where clause is important for both update and delete. I actually want to pause here for a second, because this next point is probably the single most important thing to learn from this whole explainer. This is all about using these powerful tools safely. So, let me ask you this question directly. What do you think happens if you are in a bit of a hurry? You write your update or delete command, but you forget to add the where clause. The difference is huge, and it can be a total disaster. With a where clause, you are like a surgeon, making a very precise change to only the rows you want to touch. But without the where clause, oh my, you are telling the database to apply that change to every single row in the table. So forgetting it with update might change every single student's city to Mumbai, and forgetting it with delete would just wipe out your entire table's data. So please, if you remember nothing else, remember this. Always, always double-check that you have a where clause.
So, after you have inserted, updated, or deleted your data, how do you actually check that your commands did what you wanted them to do? You need a way to look at the data, right? And this brings us to our final and maybe our most used command.
And that is the select command. Its job is simply to retrieve and view data from a table. It's how you ask the database to show you what's inside. Now, some people will correctly point out that select is technically part of data query language, or DQL, because its main job is to ask questions. But it is so fundamental to working with data that we always discuss it along with our main DML commands. And here is the most common, most classic way you will see it used. Select asterisk from student. This is just the universal way of saying, hey, database, please show me everything that's in the student table.
You see that little star symbol, the asterisk? Well, that's just a simple shortcut that means all columns. So when you run this one command, the database shows you everything, every single column and every single row from that table. It gives you the complete picture.
Okay, so let's zoom out one last time and just recap the big picture. The main idea that we've been talking about this whole time is the difference between managing the container and managing what you put inside it. And it all comes down to this simple idea. DDL commands change the structure of the database. That's our blueprint of the house. DML commands change the data inside the tables. That is the furniture. If you can just remember that simple analogy, you will always know which type of command you need to use. So, to quickly summarize your DML toolkit, you use insert to add new data, use update to modify existing data, use delete to remove old data, and use select to view your data and check your work. These 4 commands are truly the foundation of managing data in SQL. So there you have it. You now have the fundamental tools you need to manipulate data, to bring it to life, to keep it up to date, and to shape it into something meaningful. The power is now in your hands. So the only question left is, what will you build with it?